Yes, so I think Father has given a very crisp and brief introduction, and not taking time so much about talking who am I, where I'm coming from. Let's directly jump to the work that we want to do in this 1 hour. Yeah, and I think it will give a sense of like where I'm coming from. So I think Father has already talked about what is going to be the flow of the session. The first part is going to be about like what is sociocracy, what is this principle, what is how, what is the foundation of this work. Then we will talk about like election process, and third is like using sociocracy for thinking and deciding in children parliament, like how children are using it to make decision, to think together. And we will have time for question answer, and we are expecting to spend more or less equal time in each of this point. And while I'm talking about some, one of this point, and if you have any question, you might want to put it into question box, or even in your separate note, which you can ask later when we have a special question and answer round. Great. So with this, let's start with sociocracy. We have been hearing about democracy all the time, and the way we are experiencing right now everywhere, not in just politics, but in organization, in communities. We somehow seeing that it is not working, And if I have to say, like, why it is not working, I think the single reason I found is like when we say demo means mass, governance by the mass, and mass means majority. So when we are talking about majority, at the same time, we are creating minorities, and that kind of, left wing, right wing, and all kind of this thing, creating a sort of separation rather than bringing us together in a society, in a community, in living or even working. What sociocracy says, sociocracy is a governance method, which is, it has an element which says like those who are living together, those who are working together, or have some sort of social relationship, are governing themselves. They are not governed by someone others, but they are governing themselves, So let's say, for example, in our children parliament, children who are coming together in their neighborhood are deciding for themselves, you know. It is not that village or someone else outside of the, community is deciding for the children. It can happen like the way we are right now, but it is a sort of transition that is happening from, like how that this both can marry, like some structure of like this is very top down, and another structure which sociocracy offers like bottom up structure. We learn about it, like how it works and what are its underlying principle in the next part. But yeah, essentially sociocracy is about like those who live together, work together, are deciding together. And how does it work? And what are I found? We'll see. There are four key principle of the sociocracy. First one is the consent. Consent means no paramount objection. We'll again understand it into the next part. Like exactly like how we can get consent in our community, and what is the underlying principle. Another is the election. Like how do we elect people for the role? Like we have been talking about election. In democracy, we have a different understanding. And sociocracy is proposing another format, which says like 100%. Everyone who is a part of the election process in our children parliament or even a neighborhood parliament are saying like, okay, I do not have any objection to this person being a minister of, for example, quality education. For example, minister of health and education. Can you imagine that can be possible? Yeah, it's happening, and we'll see like how we can make it work. Another is circles, as father has said, like smallification, people who have a common relationship are coming together and forming a circle. In our neighborhood parliament, we say like 30 families. They are coming together and forming a parliament. So the third principle is circle or parliaments. And the fourth principle is double linking. We will understand more about it in the next part. So let's go one by one, exactly it is about and how it works. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a sort of theory and somehow application of like how we are using it in the neighborhood parliament or children parliament. But yeah, our focus is more on understanding what this sociocracy is about. Yeah. So what can you see in this image? Like, I mean, if you are seeing slide, there's something on the screen. What is it? Can you see your response in the chat box? Like, what are you seeing in the? Yeah. Yeah. What are you seeing on the screen? If you can type in the chat box. There's something strange happening. I'm not seeing chat box, so I'm wondering why. Father, can you read out some responses in the chat box, like what people are responding?
Triangle, triangle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it says triangle, right? But if you look closely, then it's not actually a triangle. Let me highlight this part. That if you look at this part, it's not joint, and the technical definition of triangle is like the angle, I mean each line in every language meeting to each other, and forming a shape of the triangle. So we can say it's a shape of the triangle, but not the triangle if we go by the technical definition of what it means. And why I'm saying this, let's say for example, if we are working in a group and one person is saying, okay, I can say it is a triangle, and if we don't have a platform or a choice, I mean other perspective which can say, okay, no, this is not triangle, this is a sort of, it looks like a triangle but the lines are not meeting, it looks like a triangle but it is not triangle. So what I'm pointing out, we need another perspective because each of us have a blind spot. What I'm pointing out, it look like a triangle to us but it is not. So we might make mistake while we are making decision. So we need consent. So if when we say consent, so what is the question that we are asking in consent? Do you have any objection to this decision, for example? When we say objection, the person who have an objection might say, okay, you are saying it is a triangle, but I have an objection say, because I see like there is a gap in this line, so I have an objection. So that's why we need another perspective, and how we can get another perspective. Another example is this is very famous, like we might be seeing it in many social media platform. One person is saying like 6, another person saying is 9. And what is happening most of the time, we end up spending time kind of proving who is right, not what is right. We spend our energy and time on who is right, what is right. So if we have a system in place or structure in place which involves every voice, and how do we do that? We do that by following a round speaking. We do it by following the consent-based decision making. So each and everyone in the parliament will have a say if I object or if I consent to the decision being made. So for example, I might be saying 6, and if another person say like no, it's 9, then we say like, okay, you have an objection, great. What will happen in that case? Usually we have been saying like objection is oh my god, another resistance from a person. In sociocracy, we say that when someone says like they have an objection, we say like, wow, it is gift, like the person is bringing the blind spot which we was not able to see. So it's basically the objection is objection is an opportunity to reveal the blind spot. So what we will do as a first step, we will say like, okay, can you please say more about like what is your objection? So the person will reason it, say like, okay, this is how it is looking like, and that's why I'm saying it's 9. And then other person might be able to see more, and the decision can be made. So I'm just talking briefly, like consent here means like we are involving different voices and the decisions made based on the consent. Consent means no paramount objection to the decision that is being made. Okay, so another criteria we say in decision objection is, okay, this decision is being made and I'm feeling heavy in my body. You know, sometimes it happens while we are talking about some decisions, some things, and all of a sudden we start feeling like, oh my God, feeling, you know, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling sad. Sometimes I'm feeling heavy in my stomach. So in sociocracy, we all of this consider as an objection, you know, because that is something that you are feeling uncomfortable with. And when there is a feeling of uncomfortableness, it is an information that we need to know as a group. And we can say that as an objection. So if you are making a decision in group and someone say like, okay, I'm hearing this and I'm feeling sad, then consider that as an objection. And we need to get consent from the people. Consent means, again, I'm just repeating again and again because that is very important. You know? No paramount objection. What does it mean? I can live with the decision. This cannot be the best decision that I would like to have, but I can live with it. I can participate fully in the decision. You know, that's what it means. Yeah, so as I said, like we do the round speaking, you know. So while if we are sitting, if you have seen the image of like children sitting in the round, when one children is speaking, everyone is listening to them, you know. Even in a parliament, like one adult is speaking, everyone is listening to them. And once person is finished talking, it goes to the next person. So each and everyone in the parliament is getting a chance to speak or express their views, feelings, ideas about like what is happening, you know, on the agenda that we are carrying. So that's how we work, you know, we follow the round speaking. Yeah, this is again another example. In consent, some people might say like, oh, I mean, when you are proposing something, some people say like, okay, this looks very good, you know. Some person might be saying like, oh, I'm feeling confused. Like, I'm not sure like if I understand what you are saying. And there can be people who say like they have an objection. So we just include all of these people, all of these children's kids, you know, in the decision making, which is 100, not just by some people saying like, okay, no, yes, it is person, yes, you know, everyone saying like, okay, this is the decision, we can live with it and we would like to try it out and see like what happens. So that's what it means, and that's the key underlying principle of the sociocracy. Another is election. Like we are also going to talk and experience it more in depth as a part of our session. We have been very familiar with this part, election, you know, like where one person is speaking and like people have been hearing, and based on what the person is saying, we usually in technical term we say is manifesto, you know, based on the manifesto we have been putting our words in the EVM and, you know, now different technology, but yeah. What we propose in sociocracy, like it's more of a selection, you know, people who are living together, working together, are saying that we feel like you are the right person to do this job. You are the right person to fill this role, you know. And how do we do that? We'll, as I said, like we have a separate section for this, like to go through the process, you know. So we'll explore it more. So yeah, basically different between election and selection. Third is the circle, parliament. What does it mean? Circle is a group of people, children, kids, who are associated with common aim or agenda or purpose, you know. In children parliament, it is their neighborhood, like they are living in the same neighborhood and that is connecting them. So they are forming one circle in their neighborhood. If it is an organization, it can be a group of people who are, you know, working in the same department. So that can be one circle. If we are living in one community, it can be one section of the community that is, you know, forming a circle or parliament. So that what it means, you know, the people who are connected with some sort of common relationship, common aim, common agenda. Yeah. So that what it means by the circle. And this is interesting. Like this is not we usually say in you know, a day-to-day thinking. This is double linking. What double linking mean? Like for example, if we have a you know, 100 family, for let's say 90 for the ease of the understanding. Let's say we have 90 families in our village, and is in neighborocracy, neighborhood parliament, we say like 30 family, in each parliament, not going beyond 30 to have the smallification and numerical identification. So we will basically have three parliament, three neighborhood parliament, and out of these three parliament, they are functioning on their own. At the same time, they have to come together as a village level. So how that can happen? They elect representatives from each parliament, one or two people. They go together and meet in a general parliament where they are sitting together and talking about at village level. So this is a local level parliament, neighborhood parliament, and they are coming together to the higher abstraction, next level, and taking part in the decision that is happening at the higher abstraction level, which is here in the local level, which is very solid. And when we go up, it's more of an abstraction. So people from the lower are also participating into the higher abstraction of the decision making. And these people are working here, living here, but when the decisions are being made at the higher abstraction, they are joining that meetings and raising their concerns, expressing their feeling and ideas in the higher, high level meeting or higher abstraction. So that what double linking is, So basically 4 principles again, the key principle of sociocracy: consent, election, circle, parliament, as I said, double linking. Yeah. I'm just going through the slides, so if you like to have a quick recap. Okay. Great. I think we are doing good on time. So let's take the next component. It says sociocratic election. How do we do that? So let's say we have as Father has said, like we are following SDGs in each of our children parliament, and that the SDGs are around 17. We have another ministries also, which makes sense really in the context of the neighborhood. And we are going to experience or understand the election for one ministry. Let's say good health and well-being, And how does that election happen? What would be our typical approach? Like if we have to elect minister for the good health and well-being, what would be the typical approach? What would we be doing? Like what is the normal form of election that we are aware about? Can you please type your response in the chat box? If you have any idea, like how we can do the election of the good health and well-being. Voting to the contestants, yes. Anything else? Like, what is the familiar form of election that we are aware about? Like, how do we do election? No response? Someone proposes another 1 second. Voting, competition, voting. Ballot. Yeah, great. So more or less what we are doing using our vote to elect the person, right? Supporting to all, okay. So yeah, I think we have a good context, yeah. So basically what we are doing, we are using our vote to elect a person, yeah. Let's say for the Ministry of Good and Health Being, in sociocratic election, what we will do, we start with what is the role and what is the responsibility. Responsibility is Minister of Good role is Minister of Good Health and Well-being. That is the role that the children is supposed to play. Yeah. What is the responsibility? So this is some of the responsibility we can list down for understanding, like to understand the process. For example, shall visit your neighborhood and school and study the effect of malnutrition. Another can be shall take all steps to keep the village clean. Shall promote healthy lifestyles. Shall work for population-free air and environment. shall try to ensure that toilet facilities are available. So this is the sum of the responsibility which Minister of Good Health and Well-being is supposed to take. Yeah. So in sociocracy election, we first clear out on, okay, what is the role, what is the responsibility, and the third one is what is the term that we are electing for. You know, in our normal election, we have a term of 5 years. In Chilean Parliament, we usually say like 1 year term for each and every minister, and then re-election happens. You know. Now the interesting parts start, like how do we elect? I'm using the word elect. Actually, it is the selection process, because we have been very familiar with election word. So like it's easy to say like this is another form of the election rather than saying like it is selecting process. Yeah. So okay, what is the process? After we know this is the role, this is the responsibility, this is the term, children sit together. The speaker says like, okay, this is what we are doing election for. What is the qualification that we will require to fulfill this role and responsibility? So what will happen? Speaker will ask each and every children to speak into the round and say like, okay, what do you think? What are the qualifications we need this ministry? So each and every kid or children will say like, okay, this is what I feel has to be a qualification to meet this, criteria or the roles and responsibility to fulfill completely. And everyone, so what will happen? They will create a list of the qualification that this minister has to have to fulfill this role. Once it is agreed to consent into, they go to the next round. It says submit ballots. That's typically what we has been doing. What is different here is it says, I, Umesh, for example, I am a part of the Children Parliament. I may say, I, Umesh, nominate, for example, I have another children in the Children Parliament, whose name is Ramesh. I say like, I, Umesh, nominate Ramesh. That's exactly what I have to do. I don't need to give reason, like just have to say, whom am I nominating to? And how will I nominate? The children will nominate based on the qualification. We are sitting in the same parliament. I know that who is the person who fits the criteria most, who is the person who fills the qualification most. So based on my understanding of this criteria, this role and understanding, who am I feeling that who is the right fit for this role, and I will nominate that person. It is not that person speaking saying, hey, I would like to volunteer for this role and people are nominating. So it's like you can nominate to the person who you feel is the good fit for this role. So whom you can nominate, like there are different forms of nomination. One is you can nominate yourself also. I can say I may nominate myself because I mean, you don't need to give reason, but I can nominate myself. That's one possibility. Children can nominate themselves, for the role. The second possibility is they can nominate someone else, saying like, okay, this is the person, which I feel like a very good fit for the role. Then third possibility is they can say abstain. I understand the qualification, but I really don't see who is the right fit for this role. I can abstain for a while. So these are the three main possibilities that everyone can share in this, ballot. Like I Umesh nominate abstain, for example. I Umesh nominate other person, or I Umesh nominate myself for this role. What would happen? What is the third step? After you submit your ballots to the speakers, speaker will read out everyone and say like, hey Umesh, you have nominated Ramesh. What is your reasons? So what will happen? Each and every kid in the round, like they will share their reason, like why they have nominated this person. It is not just a random thing, and they have to share it. They share it in the context of the qualification, like what are the qualifications they are seeing into the children, other kids, or the person they have nominated to, and they share reasons. So basically, what we are doing, every person is sharing their reason, like why they are nominating this person. We are building a kind of creating understanding of like, okay, this is why that person has nominated this person. Yeah. The next round, once we complete the sharing reason round, next step is we invite changes, which is very unusual if we look at, So after hearing everyone, now I have a better understanding of the pupil. after hearing some argument reasons, I might want to change my nomination to other person. So it can, for example, how does it look like? I may say, okay, I may nominate earlier I have nominated Ramesh, but now I would like to change my nomination to, for example, Suresh. Because I see these are the good point in Suresh, and these are the reasons that I feel like, why Suresh is strongest candidate for this role. So we do the change round. You can also say like, I don't want to change my nomination. That is also okay. You want to keep, you can keep your nomination, but at the same time, you have an opportunity to change your nomination if you feel like now is have now more information. The third step after changing nomination and creating a memory of like, okay, now where do we stand? Usual stand is like the proposal candidate is. Speaker will not look at like who has got the highest number of votes based on the, argument of the regional or the ballots. What speaker will do after this discussion of the round, change round, share reason round, who is the strongest candidate? Who is the person who is meeting the criteria fully or even mostly, who is the strongest candidate? So he or she, speaker will not choose candidate based on the number of votes the person has received. Speaker will choose candidate, not choose actually, it's propose. Speaker will propose candidate based on the argument he or she has heard, from the different people about the minister, who can fit the role, and then he or she will propose like, okay, I feel Suresh to be a minister of our health and well-being because these are the reasons that I have found, like we have been talking, these are the strong reasons that I found, like why is the right person for this role. What happened after proposal? Children do a consent round. Say like, okay, I have proposed this. Do you have any objection to being Suresh as a minister of good health and well-being? And these are the reasons. Do you have any objection? So what will happen? Speaker will go into round and say like, hey, do you have any objection? Do you have any objection? Speaker will check with each and every children, and when say they have an objection, they deal it with the way as I explained, like, how to get consent. But if when they reach a state where say like, okay, we do not have any objection to this decision, this proposal, this minister to be taking a role of good health and well, then the decision is made, and then they celebrate it. Yeah. So that's how it happens, So it's not basically a majority minority. People who are sitting together in the parliament, children who are sitting together in the parliament are making decision based on the consent. They can say like, okay, we can live with this person being a minister of health, good health and well-being. That's how the decisions are made, and that's how we are electing people for the role. So that's a basic difference than what we have been experiencing so far in different form of the election. So I'm just taking a pause and I would like to allow you to just allow you some time to think through this process and settle it down, and then we will jump to the next part. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So one interesting thing is like we have been experiencing different form of the election, and in election we just had what is most we experiencing, like once we elect, what we have been experiencing is person is there for lifetime. What we have a scope of scope of changing or improving in sociocracy than normal is not actually sociocracy. Like what sociocracy is offering is also what we are doing in our children parliament is right to recall. So if once you elected the person, here in the case of minister, it's 1 year. It is not the case that the person will stay. The children will play the role of for 1 year. If at any point anyone feels like, okay, this is not happening in the way that we would like to happen, anyone can propose saying that like this is not working and we need to make a change, and then they can make a decision around that, or can do re-election if it is required. So basically it's not something someone else is making decision. Children are kind of making decision on their own, using these principles and format structure, proposed structure. Yeah, great. I think we are done with almost complete with the sociocratic election part, and now we are going to the next part, which is like how children use sociocracy for thinking and deciding, and why it is required. So basically, whenever they are coming together in the neighborhood parliament, there can be two cases. One is they are seeing something in their parliament and they want to act upon it. They have basically have already an idea like, hey, this is what we can do, and now they are bringing it to the parliament and they are making decision around it. That is one case. Another case is children are coming together. They say like, this is the problem, this is the situation, and they don't know what to do about it. So like how they are creating ideas, generating ideas, and how they are moving when they already have something on the hand. These are the two scenarios that we will understand in this part, like how children are using sociocracy for thinking and deciding. Let's start with deciding. Another example is, let's say for example, Minister of Good Health and Well-being brings the proposal about cleanliness drive in the neighborhood. So how it would happen, minister is saying that like our neighborhood needs cleanliness, like it is being dirty and people are just throwing plastic and different wastage here and there, and we really need to have a cleanliness drive. So what happened, minister has seen the problem in his or her neighborhood, and he already have an idea like what to do about it, and the proposal is like doing the cleanliness drive. So what will happen, whenever they are meeting once in a week, Minister of Good Health and Well-being bring this, like, okay, I have this situation, I have a proposal saying like we need to do a cleanliness drive in our neighborhood, and we don't need to make a decision about that. What will happen? The second step is they will go into round and speaker will ask like, do you understand the proposal, what exactly we are supposed to do? So this is what Minister of Good Health and Well-being has proposed. They will do another round of understanding the proposal. Like, do you understand the proposal? So each and every child will go into round and say like, okay, I understand, this is what it means. This is what we are supposed to be being asked to do. I have these questions, something like that, And so what happens, they before they start saying yes or no to the proposal, they are making sure that they understand what is being proposed. They are making sure that everyone is on the same page. And once it happened, the third step is they say like, okay, now you understand the proposal. How do you feel about what is your quick reaction to the proposal? So it happens, when we hear something, something start moving inside our body, our mind, and we just try to want to get sense of it, like, like what is happening. So we say, some children might say like, hey, this really seems exciting. Some children might say like, okay, okay, another task, something like that, something like that. So and then they get a sense of like, okay, where we are in terms of feeling and ideas about this proposal, how people are feeling about it. And then they will do a consent round saying like, okay, this is what is being proposed by Minister of Good Health and Well-being. Do we consent to this proposal? And then they might go into round, and one children might, if all consent, then it is okay. But let's say, for example, if one person say like, okay, we are talking about cleanliness drive, but we are not talking about it. I have an objection to this proposal because we haven't in this proposal we haven't mentioned that when we are going to do. Because that is important, because we might have something to, our exam, for example, let's say our exams are approaching, and we need to be clear about like when we are doing it, So that's a valid objection. We need to include that, It's not like if we do it this or that. It's like how we can do both. So we include that objection. Okay. And then they modified the proposal based on the objection, saying like, okay, now we do the cleanliness drive in our neighborhood on the next Sunday. Do you have any objection to doing it on the next Sunday? Then just go against it. Everyone can say like, okay, no, it looks good, we can live with it. Or someone might say, again, they might have an objection. So basically, children will make a decision and keep modifying it until the decision is made in a way that everyone in the parliament says like, okay, this is good and this is what we need to do and this is, I can live with it, and then they actually act upon it. So that's like how they make decisions. When they already have some proposals on the hand, that's the first case. The second case that I'm bringing is like when they need to do thinking. What kind of thinking? For example, let's take another situation. Minister of Quality Education brings the agenda into meeting that he or she has found out that one child is not able to cope up with the syllabus. So in this case, if you really closely look at it, it says we have a situation where one child is not able to cope up with the syllabus. But as a minister, I really don't have any idea like what we can do about it, what I can do about it. So he or she is bringing that agenda into the parliament, and they are doing thinking together and making decision around it. Like what will happen, what will be the step? Let's explain. Let's understand it. Once it is brought to the point, they will start talking about, okay, what is the problem? Why this child is not able to cope up with the syllabus? So before they jump to the solution, they will understand like what is the problem. They will list out the problem. If it is required, they might even ask more information from their parent. Well, like depending on the case. I'm just using this as an example to explain you the process. So what will as a step they will do? They will understand the problem. What is the problem? Actually, problem. They will again. In whatever they do, they are following the round. Not to forget each and every step. They are following the rounds and rounds. Once they feel that, now they understand the problem better. They will again do a consent round. Like, do we feel complete that we understand the problem? And when each and every minister in parliament say like, okay, now they understand the problem, then they go to the next step, which is generating ideas. Now we understand the problem. What are the ways we can improve or change it? Again, they will generate ideas into node, And in this case, they are not judging each and every ideas. Like when they are generating ideas, it is not like which idea is right or wrong. It's like what I'm feeling as an individual, as a separate ministry, what I feel like has to be done to address this child, address these issues of this child, like who is not able to cope up with the syllabus. So they are basically generating idea. It's a free flow of the thinking, creative thinking, Excuse me. And after that, once they start generating ideas, they will have a list of ideas they can, actually think about to address the situation. What would be the next step? The next step is, out of this idea, can you make some proposal? Can you synthesize these ideas into a sort of proposal which is actionable and doable in the, immediately to improve the situation, or in this case, it is the child is not able to cope up with the syllabus. And once they synthesize it, then they will do a sort of, maybe the next step is a sort of consent round, not complete consent, but consent to the completeness of the proposal. Like our proposal addressing to the concerns or the problems that we have listed in the steps, step 2, like where we talk about the problem. Whatever we are proposing, is it really addressing to the problem that we have listed? Once children says like, okay, yeah, this is addressing, then they will go to the consent round and say like, okay, do we consent to this proposal? And again, they follow the process as I said earlier, like how to make a decision based on the consent. And that's how the decision are making. That's how the thinking is happening in the children parliament. Like this is how each and every minister is bringing their issues, challenge, or ideas about from their neighborhood to work on the different SDGs and different ministries and around the neighborhood and the children's. I think, yeah, that's I mean the different case that I am making. One is like when you have a situation, you already have an idea and how to improve it, and another is like you have a situation but you don't know what to do about it, and how children are kind of making decisions in a different format and using different ways of sociocracy principles and formats. So that's it. I mean, this is very brief and one-sided talk that I just needed to do to cover or give you a glimpse of it actually about this idea, like what is sociocracy, how sociocracy election happens, and like how children are using sociocracy for thinking and deciding. Yeah, so the next part is question answer. If you have any question about this, if you want to understand anything more, I'm open for the question.